My name is 𝗵𝗲𝗀. I'm a director level infrastructure executive with Mytra Consulting, a small but mighty consulting firm out of the north side of Indianapolis, focusing on all things BEAD, all things reporting and compliance. And today I'd like to spend some time talking about what executives, CEOs, and project managers at internet service providers, engineering companies, construction companies, etc. need to know, and what they should be thinking about as we finally get the rollout at the federal level from these BEAD dollars. This goes all the way back to 2020. Everyone right now, as we enter the 2025 holidays, are excited for that Christmas present of an executed BEAD agreement with the states and the federal government and the Department of Commerce. And then next will come the states around the country executing their grant agreements with the various ISPs that have been awarded these BEAD dollars. So as we get into late winter, early spring, we expect the ink to be dry on the grant agreements from the ISPs and the state broadband offices. And then that's the time where the real work now of BEAD will begin. I wanted to spend a few minutes today and talk about the timeline reality check that we're all going to be facing relative to reporting, compliance, monitoring of these BEAD dollars. Post-grant agreement, as soon as the construction begins, ISPs will be eligible to begin drawing funds down on their BEAD dollars, their BEAD awards. Several months after that, the state broadband offices will be expecting their first quarterly or semi-annual report from each ISP. So we at Mytra are very excited to engage with the internet service providers across the country to do some work on the reporting, monitoring, and compliance landscape, help them with staff augmentation, with technical assistance, with subject matter expertise, or actually conducting the reporting and compliance and monitoring activities from start to finish. Along with ISPs, as they look to do this reporting, monitoring, and compliance work, the engineering companies and the construction companies that they contract with will be doing the same. So these reports will flow from engineering and consulting up to the ISPs, up to the state broadband office, and then all the way to the Federal Department of Commerce at NTIA. Deployment timeline for these BEAD dollars for the construction projects are 4 years from the date of contract execution, and ISPs should expect to be engaging with the state broadband offices for several years after that through the entire federal period of performance. The critical mistake that we see over and over is our customers, be that an ISP or an engineering firm, waiting until the last minute to really get their ducks in a row for the reporting and compliance workload that's going to be coming their way. BEAD is going to have much more extensive reporting requirements than what ISPs have seen in the past, with the capital projects fund dollars, the ARPA dollars, and then of course some of the state dollars that states sent out years ago to first tackle the broadband issue across their states. So we would really encourage you get with us now, early and often, to really understand where you are as far as your current capabilities for reporting and monitoring, what we have to offer, and how long we have to fill in those gaps, working together in a partnership. As far as the BEAD compliance itself, we're starting to break this down into 4 key components that we call pillars of the BEAD compliance and monitoring. Number 1 is the financial reporting. Of course, the semi-annual and quarterly reports that go with that. The tracking of the 25% match dollars that each ISP are expected to provide for their share of the work. Tracking those eligible expenses and ineligible expenses. And then even in the situation where some state broadband offices are doing fixed amount subawards, still that requirement of full cost documentation start to finish. Secondly, as those first broadband serviceable locations go online, tracking the performance and the reporting of those locations. So what speeds are being provided to those addresses? What's the upload? What's the download? What's the latency measurement? What are the number of outage days or hours each month or each year? Service information, pricing tiers, take rates, low cost plan, and expect site visits from the state broadband office or their consultants to verify all this in the field. The third area that we look at for reporting and monitoring are compliance certifications. The EHP, the environmental and historical preservation requirements, tribal consent and tribal approval if you're looking at constructing on tribal lands, supply chain risk management, the rip and replace items that cannot be in your system, and then again the performance measures and standards, that 100/20 minimum speed threshold, less than 100 milliseconds latency, 24 hours outage per year or less, or document the reasons why. And then the final step is the monitoring and closeout, which we'll see at the end of each project. Each state will be creating their grant agreements differently as far as project by project, or grouping project areas together regionally, or even one ISP may have all of their projects combined into a single grant agreement. So each state will be a little different there, and we at Mytra will have our eyes on the ball state by state on the exact requirements and what those grant agreements look like and how the reporting works on a project area by project area basis. I mentioned that 10-year federal reporting that will be in place for things like low-cost plans, the cybersecurity plan, performance standards, that they continue over time and they don't decline. So what we say is, get started now, even before the New Year's. Assign dedicated compliance staff, implement grant management tracking software, upgrade your current software, look for new software, establish cost centers for BEAD projects compared to non-BEAD projects, including the costs of equipment that you may be buying in bulk, and create document retention protocols. What's the process? Going back 6 months from now and trying to recreate what you did this week, last week, and next week is going to be very difficult when you're up against a quarterly or semi-annual reporting timeline. So just a few things to think about, and know and understand, please, that we at Mytra Consulting are here to help with one or all of these or anything in between. And we'd love to hear from you before the end of the year. Thank you.